Good morning, good morning. I am coming in just a few minutes early. I thought I would set up my iPad here instead of hopefully not catching, like if you get what I mean, hopefully you won't be coming in just yet. Oh, I just need to make sure my volume's turned down. Oh, we do have some people coming in already. I thought I'd be sneaky and come in just a minute early and do all this sharing and stuff. But because I hate doing this part. Share to a group. I should just get you guys to do it for me, to go to my groups if you're in them. But that's okay. Today we are going to do a technique background. So you may have seen that Paula Dobson from New Zealand and I are teaming up. We've come together and we are calling ourselves Stampin' Down Under. And I'm just trying to find my last group, which I probably won't be able to find. Oh, there it is. Okay. Hopefully I shared them in the right groups and not where they're not supposed to be. Yes, so Paula Dobson and I have teamed up together. We're going to bring, just to start with, we're doing a few little mini blog hops together. And then we are, next month actually, we're teaming up for a project. So you'll want to make sure you stay in the loop with us for that one, because Paula is an amazing card maker, and I'm so glad she said yes when I asked her whether she wanted to team up. So anyway, this month we both love colouring and we love doing backgrounds and all that sort of stuff. So we've said, right, well, let's challenge ourselves to do a watercolour background. Paula's card is absolutely amazing, and she's so far so much more organised than me, and she showed me her card last week and I was like, oh my goodness, now I'm going to have to come up with something equally as wonderful. So hopefully I have done that. This was my card. I'm still playing with the Holly Jolly Christmas. I just love him now. Now that I've played with him, I've fallen in love with him. So I'm not going to colour him in. I'm just going to show you how I did the background. Okay, so, and I'm also going to do it, this one is all done on watercolour paper and it's all coloured with watercolour paper. I'm not sure whether you can see all the sparkle that's in there. But I'm going to do it two ways today. I'm going to use watercolour paper and shimmer. So I just want to see how they go. So once again, might turn out great, might turn out crap. So seems to be the story of my life. So you will need, if you're going to play along, you will need, this is just a Teflon sheet. You can get nice whopping big ones in the barbecue section of the supermarket. They go on your barbecue grill. You will need a couple of Ziploc or plastic bags. I use these ones just because they're small and they're easy. And I have one sheet of watercolor paper, one sheet of shimmery card. They're both the same size, so I'm going to have to turn these into cards afterwards. An aqua painter. You will possibly need your heat gun, depending on whether you want to leave it to dry naturally or whether you want to speed the process up. And also, now I am using, I've got to get my colours, I am using Balmy Blue, and I also use Blueberry Bushel just for something different. Now I do have to say, when I first started, and I'll show you my boo-boos, when I first did this, I had coloured in my image to start with, and I thought I'm going to use, I was going to use Seaside Spray, just trying to look at the colours. I was going to use Seaside Spray, and I was going to use down the bottom, and I was going to use Pretty Peacock up the top. So I had already coloured in my image, and one thing that did not work, let me just try and find it. I had a little bit of play. It seems that not all colours will flow equally. So these were my boo-boos and muck-ups. They just did not want to play properly. So those two colours, I don't know what it is, did not want to work. So this was my playtime afterwards to work out what colours did want to work. Actually, I quite like that a little bit. And but it just did not want, the ink did not want to flow. I don't know what it was. So I suggest that before you start playing, just get some scrap cardstock and have a play around with the colours first to make sure that they do bleed and run and react with the water. It's not blurry for me, Kerry, so hopefully maybe just a refresh of the page, but it's coming clear on my screen anyway. Okay, so I'm going to do them alongside each other, I think, possibly, maybe. I'll see. We'll see. We might get messy. We might have to do one at a time. So basically, I have done this technique before, but I've used it in a different manner. So this colour's on the inside, so don't fuss too much about that. So what I'm going to do is just put a bit of colour down. I'll leave you open because I probably need you again. Just going to put a bit of colour down on my Ziploc bag like that. Now I'm using the watercolour paper first. Now I did also use Whisper White. I just need to make sure that I should have used an old pen instead of my favourite one for my Whisper White flicking. Just see whether, because my screen's clear, so just see whether you can like go out and come back in again or something, and hopefully hopefully it's not blurry. I'm usually the one who's got blurry screen. Okay, so we just want to drop some water droplets down and get all that nice and wet. Now I didn't want to come all the way down to the bottom. I sort of wanted it to sort of, you know, look like it had snow at the bottom. So, oops, now I've got a bit of yellow in there. But you'll just want, you know what, it's probably coming off of this. You just want to, and don't forget that where your water is where your things are going to bleed a little bit. So what you can do is either just use it like that. I'm going to turn it around this way. Just layer it on there and start squishing it like that. Oh, there is a bit of yellow down there. And you get all this gorgeous smush. So just bring down, you are going to get very messy. I'm just warning you, so watch out. Make sure that if you need to grab your cardstock down here, that your fingers are clean. Oopsie. Dearie me. Keep it small and it's clear. Okay, cool. Okay, so then what I do is I just leave it to dry a little bit, and then I come back on and I just put a little bit more just to get that little bit of texture going on. Because as the ink dries and it's still got water on it, it tends to like, it doesn't have all the little wrinkles and the watercolor bits in there that you want. Okay, so I think I will, oops, there's a little bit, just get that. See, and if you find that you miss any, you just sort of mush your plastic bag together. Okay, so what I might do is just shift this one now and bring it. No, you know what? I'm going to do one at a time, just in case I get confused with telling you which is which. Okay, you will need to just clean up your mess here. Okay, so the next colour is my Blueberry Bushel. And I'm just going to do the same thing. I don't need as much of this one, so I'm just going to tap that onto my ink pad. Oh, you know what? I am so happy with the way my card turned out. I'm going to shift it right behind me so there's no way that I can get that messy. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to add a little bit more, and I'm working upside down for those who have just come in. We just want to add a little bit more water towards the top area because I sort of want the two colours to blend into each other. Okay, just need to get all that off. Hopefully I've got enough. Now what I'm going to do for this one is actually put my hand inside the bag so that I can sort of squish it around, and I don't want to bring it all the way down. I just want to pat it on, let it sit for a bit, and try and get less going down there because it seems quite rich, the two colours, but once that dries a little bit, so you can see that now as that's drying, it's fading along there, and then you can build up your colour right along here so that it's really dark. So that will hopefully fade a little bit. You can even get, just make sure your hands are clean. You can even get your little pen, your aqua painter here, and just sort of blend along there just to make that line not so harsh. Because we sort of want a smooth transition. It's the night sky. And then once again, if you want a little bit more texture in, just wait for the cardstock to dry a little bit. And then you can add a little bit more. You can actually see in my original card where my fingers have landed. Okay, so that will be the top, so the bottom, and then merging into the top night sky. I shouldn't play around. I should not play. Don't fiddle. Don't fiddle. Can't help myself. Can't help myself. Don't fiddle. Just leave it. Morning, everyone who's coming in. Do you get like that as well, where you just want to keep fiddling? Don't fiddle. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do now is just hit it ever so slightly with the heat gun. So apologies, I just want to dry it off a bit. Okay, so I'm just going to put that aside. So that's done on watercolor paper. Okay, so I'm just going to put that aside to let it dry a little bit more. Find somewhere. Oops. Oh, I've got these bags everywhere, and I think I just put my arm in one of them. Typical me. Oh well. Okay, so now we're going to try it again, but we're going to use shimmery cardstock. Okay, so, oh my goodness, what a mess. What a mess. I'm a mess. I hope you guys are messy stampers, because I am proving to be one today. All right, so again with my balmy blue, I can actually close that one up now. And so just going to repeat the whole process that we did before, but I'm going to be working in shimmery card. I'll just make sure that I've got water running through there. So again, now the difference between the two is obviously the texture of the card. The water will dry a whole lot quicker on this card than it does on your watercolor card. Okay, you can see that already. So you sort of got to work a little bit quicker, and you end up putting more water on there, which is perhaps not really what you want. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay, fingers clean. So it'll probably give a completely different look. I haven't tried it on shimmer. I thought this will just be a fun thing to do here. So it'll probably turn out completely different. You can see that it's reacting different already. Again, if you need to put your hand in there, you can to squish. Okay, while that's still quite wet, I'm not even going to bother to add any more ink to that. I think, see, and your card starts to curl, and so I'm just going to pat that on there. It's quite different, so you're going to get a completely different look altogether with this one. Which is quite cool. So I'm just going to, I just tapped that into my ink pad. So completely different look. Let me just hit that with a heat gun. Oh, let me just clean up first, and then I'll hit that with a heat gun. So, and the great thing is that you can just wipe these bags off and use them again. So just make sure you get all the ink off, because the next time you go to use it, you want them clean. Okay, and the other thing is I think that's pretty well, that's drying pretty well. Let me just zap it quickly. Excuse the noise. Now, you want these to be fairly dry for the next part of it, okay? Because if it's not, your colour is just going to bleed. I am actually not too bad this time. When I made my card for the blog hop, I was just covered. Oh, that one is. My hands were just absolutely covered in blue. Various shades of blue. Of course, if you... how did that happen? Of course, if you don't like to have inky hands, just pop some nice rubber gloves on and you'll be great. My husband bought me some latex gloves. I think they're latex. And they are like second skin. It's like being at the dental clinic again. Okay, now, so I need now some Whisper White. So I've got my Whisper White, and I'm just thinking I might get, I think I've got some. I might just grab a different, one of these. I might grab this one. It's a thick one. I don't tend not to use a thick one very often. Okay. So I have put a drop of re-inker in here from the last time I played. Now I am going to have to be careful because I've got my iPad sitting right in front of me. You can probably just see the edge of it in the screen. So I'm hoping that I'm not going to flick white all over my iPad. Oh, it's got any water in it? Oh yeah, there we go. So what I'm doing is just adding some water to that little bit of Whisper White I've got in there. Soak it all up, and then we just want to flick our white over the top. So this is why you need it dry, because if you don't dry it completely, that white won't stay on the card surface. And you can probably see that I haven't probably dried it as, oh yes, I've got splatters all over my iPad now. You can probably see that it's not, some of it isn't sitting on the card, it's soaked in. So I probably didn't dry it as much as what I did for my card for my blog hop. So just bear in mind that you do need to have it reasonably dry. So let's finish this one off as well. So if you are requiring, if you want to make some really gorgeous cards for family members, and you do want to, or friends, special friends, not just the run-of-the-mill mass production. See, that one hasn't, I think I've got more ink on my iPad than what I have on the card here. You can probably, I'd say more than happily get away with using the shimmery white cardstock if you plan to make quite a few of them. The shimmery cardstock, it is cheaper and it works great, and it's great for colouring. So let me just bring the other ones in. Yeah, perhaps should have needed to be a little bit, card just needed to be a little bit more dry for that. But you can see how it's going to work. I might flick a little bit more later when they have dried. So you could quite easily use the shimmer. You know, you get more cardstock in the pack, and it's cheaper, so you get a little bit more out of it. The watercolor paper is beautiful to work with. And I will show you the finished card, because once you've got all your pieces on there, your Santa and your other bits and pieces and your sentiment, it sort of looks more like a night sky rather than looking like that. So for those who haven't seen, and I must take care that my hands are clean, that is the card that is finished. So hopefully I'm in the right, yep, there we go. So that is my card, so you can see where my fingerprints well, I was a little bit heavy-handed with that. There's my fingers. But that's how it all blends down. So that turns into that, and it looks like a really great night sky and sort of on the snow. So that's a really easy way of getting a nice textured watercolor background for your cards. So that's it. That's my card. Now I will do the link to our little blog hop is in a previous post. So go and check that out. Go and check out Paula's card. She's used the pigment sprinkles and has created just an absolutely gorgeous card using the waterfront stamp set. I think it's the waterfront one. But she's done a... Oh, and I haven't even tried it yet. I'm surprised at myself. You know where you do the reverse, like the reflection technique. That's what I'm trying to get at. Okay, so that is me. So go and visit Paula as well and check out her card and leave her a little bit of comment love. And I will catch you all again later. This means, you know, that because I've got two backgrounds here, this now means I need to go and colour in some more Santas so I can turn these into cards. So have a great day, and we will catch you again sometime soon. See you later.